Hello, welcome back to Splorin'. This is a special Splorin'. We are in Jacksonville at Riverside Memorial Gardens. This is a exploration of the Memorial Gardens and some of the more notable internments and, well, honestly, the general atmosphere of this particular cemetery. A lot of my videos tend to be a little bit more tongue-in-cheek. When I do cemeteries, I approach them very differently. I try to be extremely respectful because I should be. And honestly, there's not going to be a lot of humor in this particular episode. If you're looking for that, I apologize. But the history here is demanding of a certain level of respect that I am happy to give it. I love cemeteries. I love the history. I love the atmosphere. I love the marble work, the stone work. Honestly, I think there's a lot to learn, and they are beautiful places. So I'm hoping you will enjoy this particular video. If it's not for you, I totally understand. Join us today as we do just a little exploring. As soon as you come in the main entrance of Riverside Memorial Gardens, you'll run directly into this beautiful piece of memorial statuary. Obviously, it serves a couple of purposes, but you will immediately see some of the members of Lynyrd Skynyrd, among others, right near the front of the Memorial Gardens. Right as you get started in this cemetery, you see the Van Zant plot right here. Lacey and Marion Van Zant. Lacey born 1915, Marion 1929. And then over here, Frances Darlene Van Zant, William Leroy Grant Jr. This is, of course, part of the Van Zant family. Over here, Tammy Michelle Van Zant. Unfortunately, as you can see, quite a few of these folks have passed away relatively recently. If you're not familiar with the Van Zant family, they were instrumental in the seminal southern rock band Lynyrd Skynyrd, and if I do say so, they have some actual beautiful ornate tombstones here. Beautiful. Unfortunately, you can see this one is fairly new. You can see the grass is still growing back over it. These ones have been here a little bit longer at least. But as you turn, you can come over here and you can see Leon Russell, bass player, right over here. Leon Russell Lee, still alive, thankfully. Wilkeson, next to Lipsy, Glenda W. and Edward T. This is the one that most people are probably going to know more, obviously. As a bass player myself, it's very cool to see this. And again, this is all just right inside the front area of the gardens. Also, the Van Zant family, right over here, William Brinkman, Bill Hodge, and Susan Marlene Van Zant. They are here at the very outside of the Memorial Park as well. And as we turn, you can see over here, Gary Roberts, Dale Krantz, Rosington, Simple Man. Beautiful guitar. I believe he is the most recent tombstone for the members of Skynyrd. This is another one right here, John A. Jr. Esquire. That is John A. Jr. Esquire Ramsey. If I leave here tomorrow, of course, that is a reference to the Leonard Skinner song Freebird. Also, an absolutely beautiful tombstone. I believe that is the fleur de lis, if I can pronounce it correctly, that has been engraved on this particular piece of statuary. They're doing a lot of maintenance in the cemetery today. In terms of the landscaping, at least, there's a lot of lawnmowers going. Definitely want to stay out of their way and be respectful of those who are here to visit their loved ones. So you might see me move out of the way a little bit and not get what you would call the best shots, but you know, this isn't about me. This isn't about this video. Last but not least, here at the entrance, Billy Powell. He played it pretty. Passed away 2009. Also, member of Leonard Skinner. In this case, he was the keyboardist for Lynyrd Skynyrd. He is right here as well. Now, as I walk through here, I should point out that Ronnie Van Zant is, of course, one of the ones that everyone is aware of. He was the lead singer, and this particular resting place is one of a few he's had. Unfortunately, his remains have been disturbed on multiple occasions. One very bad time, one where it wasn't so much they did anything to his remains so much as they just kind of, I hate to say it this way, doxed him. But he has been moved a couple of times, and as such, he's not up front with a lot of the other gentlemen from the band. They kind of keep him a little bit separate, try to make sure that it's a little bit more private and out of the way to keep similar situations from repeating. Kind of funny, as I'm walking through here, I'm seeing a lot of cars go by with people who are wearing Lynyrd Skynyrd or 38 Special or Molly Hatchet t-shirts, all of which southern rock bands with members who are laid to rest here. Can we take a moment to point out how beautiful this particular building is? We have another Van Zant area right here, as you can see. This one is a little bit more withdrawn and quiet and kind of by itself. As you can see, it's also put behind this fence to keep people from bothering with it. This is Lindsay Van Zant, who was only born in 1982. She did not have a long life, unfortunately. There are actually a couple of these little plots that are very private and roped off. You can see the gentleman over there walking back behind the brick wall. I have it on good authority. There is a reason a fan is going back there. Beautiful little lake over there. It says no fishing. I can't believe they have to actually put that up, but people are a trip. I do have a rule, as I've pointed out many times in these types of videos, that I do try not to show names on all of these tombstones, especially for the folks who are more recently passed, unless of course they are a little bit more notable, in which case most people know about them anyways. But for the privacy of the families, that's why I try not to show a whole lot of names. That being said, I want to show you something over here. Certainly a very ornate tombstone, and next to that, apparently someone who loved the crossword puzzles. One other note I would like to take a moment to address. I will not be able to see this entire cemetery today. I'm not even going to try to. It is a sprawling cemetery. There are a lot of different areas you can go to here. There are actual side areas that are across the road, across the other road. It is way too large of a property for me to really give you a good idea as to the scope and scale. So what I'm doing today is primarily just trying to show you some of the highlights and some of the things that I'm noticing that I think are worth noting. One nice thing about the cemeteries in Florida is we have these moss-draped oaks that I think are absolutely gorgeous. And because we live in Florida, You know, the trees generally tend to keep their leaves throughout the entire year. So while they are, of course, cemeteries that are devoted to those who have passed on, there's always so much life in these cemeteries. Over here you can see the brick structure I pointed out before. A lot of those little open spaces you see will be filled in as time goes by with the cremated remains of people who are interred there. You can see already there are, of course, several that have been filled in, but it is kind of a cool alternative to the more traditional plot. Coming around here to the other side, there are some obelisks and columns that have a very similar function. I think it's absolutely gorgeous what they've done here. By the way, and this may seem to be a little dark, but I say this in all seriousness, looks like this particular area over here is available, private estate, inquiry at office. So if you've ever had any particular desire to pick up something property-wise in this area, there's your route to that. Again, to respect the privacy of the gentleman, I'm not going to show him. There is somebody over by the grave of Ronnie Van Zant right now, who is currently drinking a alcoholic beverage out of a paper bag and smoking a blunt while sitting alongside that particular grave. As long as he cleans it up when he's done, I certainly won't begrudge him the opportunity to celebrate Mr. Van Zant's life how he chooses to, as long as it's respectful and in the context. It's not my thing, but I get why he's doing it. I believe the visitors have all moved on, so I feel like it might be safe to come over here now and pay my respects to Mr. Van Zant. Very close to this beautiful pond. Again, they pointed out that there could be alligators over here, so if you do come out, please be careful. I've noticed a few people already sitting on this bench right here, but right over here is the current, at least I believe, the current resting place of Mr. Van Zant, Mr. Ronnie Van Zant. Certainly not the first. You are able to come out here. You can see some people have already left. Well, one person left a beer can and a koozie, and there's some coinage as well. The inscription, I believe, references the Freebird. As I pointed out before, they move things over here to make it a little quieter, a little bit more off the beaten path, a little safer. So I would ask, if you do come out here, and they do welcome you, be respectful. If there's somebody over here already, let them have their moment. Also, right next door in that memorial garden area I pointed out, I'd like to take a moment to note that gorgeous sea turtle marble bust. Very unusual. Interesting note about Lynyrd Skynyrd, who, of course, we've seen several of their final resting places today. The band is named after a teacher by the name of Leonard Skinner, who is also interred somewhere on this property. I have not seen his particular area yet. If I do before I leave, I will certainly make note of that. But he is here somewhere. Lynyrd Skynyrd is a real person. This particular tombstone is covered with the fruit coming off of this particular tree. At first I thought it had been laid here from seeing it from afar, but no, it is definitely fruit coming off of this tree itself. Right back there you can see one of the, looks like one of the older areas of this particular cemetery. It's very overgrown. It is kind of roped off with these bushes. I am not going to get any closer than this. I want to respect the boundaries that they have set, but I did want to point out that there are definitely some older areas of this cemetery, perhaps a little bit more dangerous to tread on. So if you do come out here, please be very careful. Right over here we have another roped off area, very close to the last one that we looked at that was a bit older. The American flag flying nearby. You can always tell when there is a veteran or veterans that have been interned nearby. Actually, I'm now seeing this sign, Gravely Hill Cemetery Historical Landmark Notice. So this is a cemetery within a cemetery, and it is certainly, as I pointed out, a bit more aged. It's seen better days. You can see over here, for instance, this white fence that was placed around some of the stones, and obviously the fence has seen better days. These folks haven't been here for all that long, though. Well, within the last 24 years, 25 years. But there are some tombstones out here that are obviously quite a bit older here at Gravely Hill Cemetery. Most of the grass has not been mowed, so I'm going to be very quick back here and not head too far back. There are a lot of ticks and spiders and snakes, thanks to it being Florida. So again, if you come back here, please be very careful. Real quick on the way out, as you can see, these tombstones are old enough at this point that the inscriptions have largely been wiped away. But it is still technically an active cemetery here at Gravely Hill. I'm at the very rear of the cemetery now, and there is a small path back there. I don't think it's intended to be a path. I think it's just sort of become one. There's a group of kittens who I just saw taking off down that path, which kind of sad, but on the same hand, it probably helps to control some of the critter population, if you will, here in the cemetery. I'd like to take a quick moment to walk back here. I don't want to go too far again. It gets near the woods, you start getting chewed on. You can see over here it looks like a tree has very recently fallen on some of the tombstones back here. You know, over here you can see the little paths, but as you turn, there are unfortunately several stones that are underneath that collapsed tree. There's a sign right here that says tree to be removed August 16th, so at least there is a plan in place to go ahead and take care of that. There are certainly, I can see several stones trapped underneath the brush. There's another notable one I'd like to point out. If you come to the cemetery, it is across the street from the main property, but there's a very obvious secondary portion of the cemetery. That stone right there is for Mr. Dave Klubeck, who only passed away in 2017. He was the lead guitar player for Molly Hatchet, another very notable southern rock band. So if you'd like to come out and visit that, that is across the street. Over here, as you can see, it is very obvious tombstone. Actually, I like this area. This is a very beautiful, well-manicured area. I have now crossed yet another street to reach this portion of the cemetery. There are, like I said, several large sections. There is a particular burial that I am looking for over here. Take a look at what is left of that tree over there. That is incredible. I believe it's growing around a boulder. Not sure how that comes to be, but there you go. I believe the particular one I'm looking for is right over here. And I'm using a picture I found to try to help me figure it out. This building was in the rear of the photograph. So let's see if I can use that to kind of figure out where I'm going. It may be a little further down this direction. Ah, there it is. I give you the final resting place of F. Leonard Skinner, the coach whose name was used to create the rock band name for Lynyrd Skynyrd. So, Corporal Skinner was not only a corporal in the U.S. Army during the Korean War, he was also a teacher and a coach. But wanted to show proper respects to Corporal F. Leonard Skinner. You can see a lot of coins have been left here as well. Obviously, he has been visited many times. As you can see, this particular cemetery, portion of the cemetery, I should say, does not have the tombstone sticking up generally. If anything, there are some benches, memorial benches, and a couple of crosses here and there, but a lot of urns. A lot of imagery from the Bible. It's an incredible cemetery. It's definitely worth taking a few moments to visit if you get the chance when you're in Jacksonville. It is outside of downtown, so if you're staying downtown, you will definitely need either a car or an Uber, probably a car, to get here, but it's worth the trip. I believe that wraps things up for us today from Riverside Memorial Gardens here in Jacksonville, Florida. I want to thank you for being here today. You know, this is definitely outside of the realm of what some of you have come to expect, but I think it was important to come out here and to treat it with the respect that it deserves. If you haven't done so already, I would definitely love to have you recommend any other historic cemeteries that you think that I should visit. The more historic, the better. And in the meantime, we'll see you next time when we do just a little more exploring.